Welcome once again to our message from our divine compassionate guides. Today is a pick your card message, and I've chosen a card from 3 different decks by Rebecca Campbell. We have the Starseed Oracle card deck, the Rose Oracle card, and the Work Your Light Oracle card deck. So take a moment and decide which one resonates for you. In the description, you can click ahead to your message. It is time-stamped if you have chosen any besides the first. As always, my name is Julianne Duffy, and my purpose is to live, speak, and seek the truth in all forms to assist humanity in connecting to its highest form of authenticity. And I am also a producer of a show on Mupo Entertainment, where I pull cards, and you can see the content there at mupoentertainment.com. Check it out. I'm starting my 2nd season, which will be based on your astrological sign and the cards and the forecast for the next 3, 6, 9, and 12 months. So do stay updated or stay up to date by following me and liking, subscribing. So when that goes live, you can go and find out what your message is for your astrological sign. Let's jump right into it. We'll start with the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. Of course, they're all by Rebecca Campbell, but let's start here on the left. And if you chose that card, and don't mind my garden manicure there, because it's harvest time, your message is lifting the veil. Question everything. Anything unaligned must go. So that is your message. Things are changing. You're becoming more aware of things, and things that don't match where the frequency is and your vibration, it's time to let them go. So with this card, things aren't always as they seem. This era is one of uncovering mistruths so that we can remember ancient truths. Everything is in a state of recall and realignment, which seems quite appropriate. Anything that isn't in harmony with the planet will not survive. This goes for society and the world at large, as well as our own lives. If you pull this card, so if you chose this card, you're being called to energetically scan your life for things that may no longer be vibrationally a match for who you are and how you've grown. To dismantle the systems and ways of being that once served you and others is no longer going to fit. Some starseeds are here to lift the veil between the seen and unseen worlds, to shine a light on things that are inauthentic or unaligned with the survival and well-being of Earth, to stand for and protect those who don't have a voice, to look deeper and question everything that previous generations didn't. Some starseeds cannot tolerate things that aren't congruent. They're here to bring society and humanity back into harmony with the planet and the Creator at large. If we tolerate things in our lives that aren't aligned and congruent with it, we add to the misalignment of the planet. You're being called to trust yourself, notice what's out of alignment, and take the baby steps required to go back into a balanced harmony. And this is for yourself as well as for the planet. So I feel like for myself, this really says you are the light worker. You are lifting the veil, and if you're struggling with it, it's probably because things are unaligned around you and you haven't let them go. And if you're not questioning everything, if you're taking it for face value, so if you listen to mainstream media, you're listening to so-called experts, you're being lied to. Like straight up, like we are coming into this period where experts are no longer experts. They've been programmed through this limited perspective. And, you know, the unfortunate thing is in so many areas, especially with health and education, these experts are not taught the proper way. They're taught how the system wants you to be and think, which is not in alignment with this planet. So that is really your message, is question everything. And if it doesn't feel like an alignment, take those steps. And it might be scary. It might be anything from if you have a child in the system and taking that step to homeschool them can get completely terrifying, because you might think that you're ruining them. How are they going to socialize, which is quite a weird concern, especially nowadays when there's so many ways to socialize. It's taking those first steps and choosing to get out of the fear and get back into alignment. And some of the hardest things are the most scariest. Good English. So that is your message. Get rid of the things, whether it's system, education, whether it's system in the health way, and trusting that your doctor, you may have a doctor who has good intentions, but he or she may not be trained properly. One thing I've found through this journey is learning that doctors, out of their 10 years of university, secondary education, only get 4 hours of nutrition. So there's a massive gap. And if they're not learning it themselves, they're not really able to help you fulfill your healing. And then we also have a misunderstanding of what holistic means in our culture, which is really sad, because I'd seen a question, like a little questionnaire where people went and answered, what do you think of holistic health? Is it essentially voodoo? It doesn't work? Is it real? Like that kind of thing. And the majority of people don't believe in holistic health. And it's because they don't understand what it is. Holistic health is looking at your whole being. So if your doctor does not look at the whole being, which is mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and environmental as well, all those things play a factor in our health. And that is what is going to have to change, is we really need to go into holistic health in that system. So those are just examples for you, if you chose this, on how lifting the veil might affect you. Let's continue. Now, if you chose from the Rose Oracle cards by Rebecca Campbell, your message is, get that, here we go. The second bloom, a second chance. It's never too late. New possibilities. This card of second chances, new beginnings, regeneration, and reinventing yourself, it's never too late to surrender to what's blooming within you. All that matters is that you surrender to the buds that are longing to grow and be known. No matter your age or what may have previously occurred, this card is an invitation and also a reminder to surrender to a second bloom, to welcome the new and share it with the world, to acknowledge the secret passions, longings, creations, and yearnings, and let them bud and bloom. If we properly allow things to end, new beginnings will always come. If we surrender to the cycles of life, after winter, spring will always return. If we tend the seeds in the fertile earth, they'll eventually emerge. Just as we think the season's over and winter's drawing near, some roses bless us with an unexpected second bloom. And this card, choosing this card, is a likely sign that you too are set for a second bloom. Perhaps you have a creation that's waiting to be brought forth, or maybe it's a new relationship or passion in your life. Maybe what's waiting to be born is a new version of you. The more you open and are open to change, the more open we are to life. The more open we are to life, the more open we are to being born again anew. And yes, this is what it means to truly live. Be open to saying yes to life. So when we eventually take our last breath, we do so while we still were living fully. This is really that reminder that nothing is ever the end until you take that last breath. There's always the opportunity, like it said, no matter what your age is, to change and go into new. All we have to do is really change our perspective and start taking actions into all those new possibilities. You want to start a new job, you want to start your own business, you want to travel, do it. It's never, ever too late to do it. You're never too young and you're never too old. It's all a state of mind. Beautiful. Now, last card. This is from the Work Your Light Oracle cards. If you chose this one here on the end by Rebecca Campbell, your message is no. Wait, postpone, pause, say no. So whatever's been on your mind that you were really waiting for an answer, your answer right now is no. That is the clear message. You are being called to either pause or say no. Saying yes to something that isn't in alignment with you will drain your energy and your time. Hold out for a congruent, aligned 100% yes. Often when we are looking for guidance to make a decision, it can be frustrating not to move into clear and considered action. However, timing is everything, and not receiving clear guidance is actually guidance in itself. We all go through times known as waiting periods. These times are crucial for our body to regenerate and the new path to formulate, and the universe to help create things on our behalf. You don't need to be plowing forward all the time. A potential congruent yes, when the time is right, will put you ahead leaps and bounds. So sometimes it's just take that step, pause, hold off, because when the time is right, it's going to go forward very quickly. And waiting is actually very productive. For when the time and movement comes, we can dive right in. Use the time to regenerate and ponder what you truly want. Consider the options. If your options are not clear, don't fear, because this is the time. This time is a gift to take some reflection. Take a moment in your busy life to clear the decks and prepare for the time in the future. For when spring and clarity bloom, you will have the reserved space and drives to say yes and move quickly. So just because right now may not be the time, it might be time to say no, pause, postpone, wait, doesn't mean it's the end. It means there might be a little bit more that has to work in the background to assist. So when it's the right time, you go forward full speed ahead, and it'll be like magic. So those are our messages for today. As always, I do intend that these will serve you as you go forward. And please, if you have not, do like, share, and subscribe to stay up to date with all of the messages. And until next time, namaste.